What is up, Interceptor Squad? Welcome back to another video. As you guys can already tell by the title, we're going to be talking about 5 things you probably did not know about the Ford Police Interceptor Sedan. Okay, so the first thing is really what I just talked about, Ford Police Interceptor Sedan. You guys hear me say that, but not too often. Usually I just call it the Taurus, my Ford Taurus. But technically this is not a Ford Taurus. This is technically a Ford Police Interceptor Sedan. That is the correct name of this car. It is an Interceptor Sedan. Now a lot of people think that, you know, departments buy these cars stock as a civilian version, and then police outfit it with, you know, the black grille, the steelies, the spotlights, all that good stuff. Actually, these cars come exactly like this from Ford themselves. They come with the steelies, they come with the upgrades, the grille, the whole cop look. And then Ford actually sent it to another one of their factories or whatever you want to call it, and then they outfit it with the spotlights, the lights, and all, you know, the extras if departments want them. But these cars do come like this from factory by Ford. Departments don't buy them as a stock Taurus and then outfit them with all these police, you know, equipment. These come like this from Ford factory. Especially this sticker right here. A lot of people say, oh, you should rip off that sticker because, you know, there's nothing illegal about the sticker. These come from factory by Ford. These are put on these cars from at the Ford factory. So it's 100% legal, and it's technically the name of the car. It's a Police Interceptor Sedan. So it technically is a Taurus, yes, but technically it's a Taurus. That's why I do call it the Taurus all the time. It's a lot easier than saying Ford Police Interceptor Sedan or Interceptor Sedan. But yeah, technically at the end of the day, it is an Interceptor Sedan. I'm sure you guys all knew that, but that was the first thing. You guys may or may have not known that, yes, these are technically called the Police Interceptor Sedans. The next thing is that the Interceptor Sedan and the Interceptor Utility, or the Taurus and the Explorer, sit on the same frame, and they are pretty much almost the same exact thing. The reason why I say that is because Ford designed both the Utility and the Interceptor Sedan to be extremely, extremely similar. And they did that on purpose. They did that for a very good reason. So if departments were ever to buy or have the Utility and the Sedan both in their fleet, and an officer you know, jumps in a Utility and then, you know, has to jump in a Sedan, you know, halfway through a shift or whatever, that he would be comfortable switching from the Utility to the Sedan or vice versa. And, you know, he would be used to, you know, the whole driving experience because they, you know, they drive this, like I said again, they're very, very, very similar. Saying jumping from the Sedan to a Charger or something, they're very different. One's rear-wheel drive, one's all-wheel drive. The cars react different. So that's one of the main reasons why Ford designed them very similar. Also, if someone, an officer in a Utility broke down and he needed you know, a spare tire, didn't have one in his Utility, another officer with a Sedan could come around, grab his spare tire and put it right on the Utility, which is actually very, very smart of Ford to do something like that. And it does make sense if you think about it. Even the inside as well, the whole steering wheel, camera's kind of in my face, the whole steering wheel is the same on the Utility and in the Sedan. The whole basically setup is exactly the same. And like I said again, that's just for officer, you know, so they're familiar with the car, so they don't have to jump in and get used to a whole new car. So that way they just jump into the Sedan or the Utility, and it's basically like sitting in the same car, just boom, one's a car, one's an SUV. That's really the only difference between the two. But yeah, everything's pretty much the same. The button placements, everything is the same on the Sedan and in the Utility. And that's also one of the reasons why I bought the Taurus as well. Aside from it being, you know, a sedan, the Utilities are just too expensive as of right now for, you know, buying an ex-cop car. they're just too expensive. And like I said again, this is basically a utility, just a sedan version. There's really not much difference about them. The next thing is that the Interceptor Sedan has 3 different types of engine options, which I personally didn't know. I only thought when I went to go buy these cars that there were 2, the EcoBoost model and then just the standard V6 all-wheel drive model. But nope, there's actually 3. There is actually a front-wheel drive model as well. So we have 3 engine options. The standard one, which is the one I have, which is a 3.7-liter V6 all-wheel drive producing 305 horsepower and 280 pound-feet torque. Then you got the EcoBoost model, which is a 3.5-liter V6 with 365 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, which is an absolute monster. But I did hear a little bit of bad things about the EcoBoost model, and they also are a little bit more expensive in terms of, you know, insurance and stuff like that. And then we have the third mysterious engine option that I did not know existed. And then you have the 3.5-liter V6 front-wheel drive with 288 horsepower and 254 pound-feet torque, which is the slowest of the 3. Okay, the next thing is actually really cool, and this is actually something to do with the Taurus actually itself, and how the Taurus often credited for saving the Ford company in the 1980s. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about that, which is really cool, and it kind of gives you a cool backstory to this car, and kind of makes me look at the car a little different. And you know, I just thought, you know, it was a Taurus, you know, what's a Taurus, blah blah blah. You know, it's not like the Crown Vic. The Crown Vic has such an amazing reputation. So if you guys don't know, back in 1985, Ford released the Ford Taurus. It was a front-wheel drive car with rounded edges, and at the time, it was strikingly different from all the other sedans, you know, in that time era. Like you kind of see here, they often called it the jelly bean shape. It's almost, you know, it's still, even till this day, you got the rounded edges. But back in 1985, it was very, very different from what other cars looked, and it influenced other automobile industries, you know, designs through decades. So this car right here, well, not specifically this car, but the brand, Taurus. I was watching a documentary on it and stuff, and, you know, just the history of these cars. Pretty cool to know that, you know, the Taurus that was released back in 1985 was, you know, different, so different, and, you know, other automobile makers, you know, saw that and kind of took the influence to, you know, design their own cars with the rounded edges and stuff like that. And it's cool to know that the Taurus is often credited as saving the Ford company back then. So, I don't know, I think it's just a pretty cool little neat fact. You guys can look it up for yourselves if you guys want to check it out. I don't remember the video I was watching or anything, but I'm sure if you pop it up on YouTube, you'll more than likely find it. But yeah, I thought that was really, really cool to kind of just give a little bit of credit to this car, to the Taurus name, because I honestly didn't think anything special about the Taurus, but it's pretty cool that, you know, it has a little bit of history behind it. Okay, and the last thing is sideways engine, question mark. If you guys may or may not recall, I always came from, you know, big cars, V8s. I had a Mercury Grand Marquis, 2004 is my first car, and then obviously my Crown Vic is my second. This is my third, so this is a very, very small engine compared to the engines I've seen, but the engine seems to be mounted sideways. Now, you guys may look on it and be like, yeah, it looks pretty normal, right? But usually in a regular car, you would have all the belts over here, but as you guys can see, you got nothing over here. Obviously, you got the radiator over here with the fan and all that. That's still tucked away into here. But if you look onto the side, let me see if I can zoom in. It's kind of going to be hard to see. There you go. There we got the belts and all that on the side of the engine, which is very, very weird. Usually, I'm used to seeing it in the front. I don't know if it's like that in smaller engine cars. I personally don't know, because this is my first time owning a V6. But it's very weird to see that. Yes. It appears that the engine may be mounted in sideways because you got all the belts and all that crap over there. Obviously a really squished, condensed little engine, but it does pack a punch. Do not let that intimidate you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Now obviously there's probably a lot more out there about this car that you guys may or may have not known. So if this video does good, I'll do another one. We'll see. But it was really cool. I was doing a little bit of research on it and looking up videos and Ford documentaries and you know, the Police Interceptor engineers and how they made this car from the ground up, this one and the utility. And it's really cool to see, you know, the history behind these cars and, you know, really what these cars are capable of, because a lot of people do hate on these cars because they are newer cars. I get it. They're newer. They don't have the reputation of the Crown Vic. The Crown Vic's been, you know, around for so long, and you still have Crown Vics in service. And these are a little bit newer. Obviously, you know, people say they're cheaper made. They have more issues, this and that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think you just got to give it, you know, you got to give it a chance. You got to give it credit. And I've had my car for almost 8 months going on now, 91,000 miles, and she's still pushing. She's still doing good. Fingers crossed she stays that way. But yeah, anyway, at the end of the day, I love these cars. I think they're really, really cool. I think everyone should upgrade to a newer Interceptor. It doesn't mean necessarily if you have a Crown Vic, junk it, because I personally still want to get another Crown Vic in the future. But I definitely do think it's worth owning one of these things, because it's just, they're so much fun to drive. They're so cool. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, again, drop a like if you guys liked it. We'll do another 5 things you didn't know. If you guys do like this video, and if you guys have any things that you know about it, let me know down below in the comments, and maybe if I make another video, I'll give you guys a shout out in the next video. So with that being said, I will see all of you guys in the next one.